Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Skyrender Studios video game reviews. My name is Michael aka Mizco, and today we take a look at Dying Light. Make sure you watch this video to the end for your chance to win a copy of Overture, a new roguelike game from Black Shell Games. Dying Light is a first-person, free-running filled action survival game based in a zombie-infested city. Basically, brushed-up Mirror's Edge meets an urban state of decay. The game was developed by Acclaimed, a Polish game developer, and published by good old Warner Bros., and is available on PC, Xbox One, and the PS4. The game dominated the market in January 2015, which makes this review, having been published in February, a little on the late side. But, as with all of our game reviews, we do the pros, then we do the cons, and then we tell you how we really feel. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So, first and foremost, the pros. Look at it. It's gorgeous. Okay, that's enough about graphics. Big pro number one. For the first time in what feels like forever, this game brings to the table what I've been missing for ages, and that is solid base gameplay. You hit zombies, they take the hit, then you try to squish their brains in. Although I have a few minor beefs with the combat system, this is the most realistic zombie fighting I've played to date. You run and try to latch onto things while free running, and lo and behold, you actually grab the thing you meant to grab. It's beautiful. I gotta say, I love how simple they make the free running mechanic in this game too. If you can see it, you can pretty much grab it and climb it. There's no different buttons for your feet, hands, pinky toe, bicep, weenus, and Adam's apple. You press a button to jump, you hold that same button to grab, which is pretty intuitive considering most gamers know to hold their jump button to get a higher jump, and if you don't know, now you know. I almost couldn't ask for more, but I'm going to. That's for later. Big pro number two. This game, for me and my friends at least, was legitimately terrifying and stressful at times, specifically at night and in dark enclosed spaces, like an abandoned school. At night. In this game, you have the option to explore the massive open world during the day or during the very creepy night sequence, complete with equally terrifying music to help bolster the mood. During the nighttime, special zombies called volatiles come out and they're f***ing scary. They're big, fast, and can smell the small amount of urine you just secreted when they spotted you. There are a few things in the game that can help even the odds, but all in all, they're not something to mess with. The game awards double experience in 2 of your 3 talent trees for actions done during the night, thus giving you a proper incentive for wanting to go out and get your face pounded in as you scream like a 12-year-old girl. Big pro number 3. Multiplayer. Thank God. The game is fun enough in single player, but this is definitely one of those games you play and think, huh, this would be twice as much fun if I could play co-op with my friends. And guess what? It totally is. The game seamlessly integrates other players into your game or allows you to jump into theirs and help them along their story. One little nicety they've added is the ability to start friendly competitions with your buddies as you go through the co-op campaign. Simple things like who can kill the most zombies or who can get from point A to point B the fastest. For someone who's as competitive as me, this feature quickly became the start some shit feature, and I loved it. I know what else you're thinking. This game would also be super fun if I could pit myself head-to-head against other players as a zombie. Yeah, you can totally do that too, and it's awesome. The game features a versus mode in which a super zombie type character controlled by one person is tasked with hunting down the other 4 player controlled humans who, alternatively, are tasked with destroying your nests. Things can get pretty heated and it's a lot of good fun. I will say, however, that should there be one super zombie versus one human, that human doesn't stand a chance. Little pros. The game features a pretty easy to understand crafting system that, when taken advantage of, helps even the odds between you and your infected and non-infected foes. However, it isn't completely necessary for success. Think Dragon Age Inquisition. For the most part, the game features some pretty okay voice acting, save for a few random NPCs, and the look and style of the game is really well accomplished. The characters you interact with look and feel real enough, and there's a well-established sense of urgency for everything you set to accomplish. Well, that's it for the major pros of the game, but before we move on, I want to thank you guys for watching this video this far. Please don't forget to subscribe to us, or throw this video a like if you like what we're doing. So, without further ado, the cons. Don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy this game. But after a while, you start to realize that you are, apparently, everyone's most qualified errand boy, and every quest just becomes a little less fun than the last, because you notice you're just sort of free running from point A to point B a couple dozen times. There is the occasional free run during the night sequence mission that's pretty intense, but when it comes down to it, you're still just free running. A lot. For everyone. Everywhere. All day, every day. After a while, the entire game starts to feel like a free-running game that just so happens to also have zombies in it, and you can pretty much sprint and free-run your way through any quest and conflict. I'm not kidding. You actually unlock an ability that allows you to use zombies as free-running objects. With that being said, the game can get a little on the monotonous side, so I wish there were some more dynamic events to help keep your interest. There's plenty of side content to experience, but none of them really steer far enough away from the base gameplay to help expand your experience. The second biggest con of this game, which is really unfortunate considering it's a single player game, is that the story is meh at best. You're some James Bond-esque operative who goes in undercover to find some file from some bad guy. Semi-spoiler alert, things happen and there's fairly predictable twists involved. Ooh. They do a fair enough job of making you care about some of the main characters here, but other than that, nothing really seems to matter. I mean, I got to that typical conflict in the story where it's, if we don't do this, then everybody dies, and I just sort of shrugged it off and jumped about exploring a new area without a care in the world. Another thing I didn't like is that I didn't notice any amount of scalable difficulty when I jumped into games with friends. There weren't more zombies or anything, so when we all got together, the game was almost too easy, and we found ourselves actually looking for trouble to spruce things up. Now, I normally don't do this in our video game reviews, but I've ran across something that I'm not really sure if I should consider a pro or a con, so we'll just put it here in the category of notable things. The game does not have a way to change the difficulty level, but it's intrinsically challenging on its own. As an avid gamer myself, I would call the game in its entirety a solid medium to medium hard, which I actually think is pretty refreshing as it forces me to find alternative ways to accomplish my goals when I hit that inevitable challenge or point in the game that keeps kicking my ass. However, that also means that the game is nearly impossible for a casual gamer. Take for example my wife. She's a casual gamer, but she also loves zombie games, so she really wanted to play this. Dying Light, however, doesn't have a way to change the difficulty level, so for her, the game is forever stuck on impossible mode. And by impossible, I mean she couldn't even complete the intro without dying multiple times and then rage quitting. So let me tell you how I really feel. Dying Light is a solid game that brings a lot of things to the table that I've come to miss over the past few years, where gaming has become more of a pissing contest over who can make the prettiest game, but then ignore everything that makes a game playable in the first place. This game is the first in a while that I felt had great base gameplay mechanics, with a bearable enough story to carry my attention span for more than half of the game. And that's saying something. Alright, so here's how I scored the game. For look and feel, I gave this game a 9 out of 10. The art style, musical compositions, and just general visual style in this game were really well done, and it did a great job in making me feel what they wanted me to feel, like fear during the night and just adrenaline going during combat. I gave the game mechanics a 9 out of 10 for everything I previously mentioned. Playability, meaning glitches, lack thereof, any major bugs, I gave them an 8 out of 10. This would have been a 10 out of 10, but there was a big bug going around that was keeping people from saving their games properly, and it was forcing them to start over. Not cool. I gave the story a 7 out of 10. This is only so high because the protagonist's voice acting was good enough to give me some feels here and there, and I did legitimately find myself caring about 2, maybe 2.5 of the other main characters in this. For fun factor, I gave the game a 7 out of 10. This score would have been way higher had the game been able to keep my interest for longer than 53% of the way through the main story. No, really, that's not an exaggeration. 53% is the percentage on the save state I have for when I started to get unbearably bored. That brings us to an overall total of 8 out of 10 for Dying Light. Well guys, that's it for this review, but before you go, you should know that we are having a little giveaway. To enter yourself, like and share this video, and to be eligible, you must be a subscriber here on our channel. Do this, and you'll be entered to win a copy of Overture from Black Shell Games. Don't know what that is? Check out the trailer we did for them, or check them out on Steam. Thanks for watching guys, let us know what you'd like to see next, whether it be a gaming challenge or another video game review. Join the discussion here on our YouTube page. Once again, this is Michael aka Mizco, we'll see you next time.